The current exercise is about constructing a truth table for a formula. You can see the formula on your screen. As you can see, it contains three different Boolean variables, P, Q, R. So this means we have to give all the possible evaluations for those three variables. This is why I'm drawing three columns, one for P, another for Q, and the third for R. And we give, as I told you, all the possible evaluations. So for instance, one possible evaluation is 0, 0, 0. The second one is 0, 0, 1. The third one is, let's say, 0, 1, 0. And we can keep going. How many such evaluations, or in other words, interpretations, we have to specify here? Since we have three variables, the number of possible interpretations is 2 to the power of 3, which is equal to 8. So we have 5 more interpretations to go. There's a good algorithm to generate all those interpretations. So I can keep going with R and switching between 0 and 1. Then I can go on with Q. So I switch between zeros and ones in after of every 2 elements. So I wrote 2 zeros, then 2 ones, then 2 zeros again, and 2 ones at the end. And finally, here is P. For P, I have to start with 4 zeros and continue with 4 ones. Here we are. So we have given the 8 possible interpretations. Now let's evaluate the formulas. The formula has two elements, basically, P and not Q and R. So my suggestion is to evaluate not Q and R first, and then after that to evaluate the entire formula. Okay, so let's start with not Q and R, and then evaluate the entire formula in those separate columns. Okay, so let's start with the row 0, 0, 0. Here, Q is 0, R is 0, its conjunction, its ends connection, of course, is 0. So if you negate 0, we get 1. Similarly, in the second row, Q is 0, R is 1, but the conjunction evaluates 0. Even in this case, we negate it and we get 1. So of course, since you know how conjunction works, you know that in the next column, the value will be the same 1. And then in the fourth column, where Q and R are both 1s, the conjunction evaluates to 1, and this is what we negate here, so we get 0. Okay, how to continue in this column? Let me just erase the irrelevant details here. Of course, since the values of Q and R repeat themselves, so here I made the evaluation for those QR values, and I do the same here, and I can copy the values from the lines above. Okay, now let's evaluate the entire formula. Basically, we have to connect P with the previous column by using the connective disjunction. Okay, so in the first line, P is 0 and not Q and R 1. So if we connect those with the disjunction, we get the final result 1. As you know, disjunction evaluates to 1 whenever any of its operands evaluates to 1. So basically, since we can see that the right-hand side operand is 1 in those lines, we can immediately copy those ones here. The only exception is the fourth row, this one, because in this case, P is false, and also the right hand operand is false. So in this case, the result will be 0. Yes. And yeah, so if you just keep going, it's easy to see that in the next 3 lines, the formula evaluates to 1, and also in the very last line, where the left hand operand P evaluates to 1, the result will be 1.